Hey, yay, hey, yay. We are all gathered here today for something quite unique, delightful, if you will. Maypack Part 2. Part 2. The return of the all wait. No, wait, you're kidding. He didn't just say what I think he did he? That's right. Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao on Netflix in September. Now, I put out the initial news video, and I can't say I'm surprised. There were some people, they were hating on the fight. And in this video, I'm going to break it down and let you know why this fight could very well be better than the first fight. So do allow me to proceed. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, again, the fight's on. That's for starters. So whether you like it or not, it don't really matter. Floyd about to get a bag, and Pacquiao about to get that bag. So y'all brokies can hate. Oh man, I don't want to see it. I'm not watching it. But here's the thing. I know a lot of you guys are not keeping it real. Can we just admit that? Am I the only one in this game that still tell the truth? Can we admit that y'all not keeping it real? Because we always hear this. Like, for example, and it's usually black fighters, let's be real. Guys like Floyd Mayweather, guys like Gervonta Davis that have these radical haters and naysayers who flog and get mad at everything they do and say, right? And this is how fake the boxing game can be. These individuals, the usual suspects, they will say, oh man, Gervonta Davis ain't holding boxing down in the right way. I'm not watching his next fight. Ah, nah, I'm the boss, see? Nah, 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 nah. Right? But here's where they get caught up every time. And this is why Boxingego knows they are lying. Because when Tank has the hair grease, Tank took a knee, whatever that was, that whole sequence in the Lamont Roach fight, these dudes are right there immediately after it happened on Twitter, on the internet, on Boxingego, on my YouTube, in my comment section, on my Instagram. Use my link me to follow everything so you don't miss a beat, right? And my question is this. I thought you didn't even want to see Tank versus Lamont Roach. This is how I know y'all be lying. People were like, oh, Tank's picking on a smaller Roach. Roach was bigger than Gervonta Davis. Let's be real. I'm not watching Tank's fight. Tank needs to fight Shakur or whatever people say, right? They say all these things, but then they still watch. And again, the evidence that they are still watching is you know exactly what happened, how it happened, how everything played out. That's what shows me that you're paying attention. So I expect nothing different here for Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. There's going to be people who, content creators included, they're going to make little videos and say, oh man, why are we getting this fight? We're getting this fight 10, 20 years too late. Oh my God. And all these things. But the end result is it's on Netflix and you're going to watch it. I really blame you. Yeah, you. And I'm pointing at y'all. My camera is so crispy, I'm just going to I'm going to point like the T1000 because my camera work is crispy. I know this hurts, Sarah. Call to John. Call to John, Sarah. Bro, y'all remember in that Terminator 2 when my boy Robert Patrick was like, I know this hurts, Sarah. Call to John. How's Wolfie? Y'all don't really know the movies like me. So, anywho, I can't wait to hear all the comments of, I'm not watching it. This is ridiculous. This is two elderly guys fighting. Oh my God. I can't wait to read the comments with y'all crying because I feast on your tears. Me, I'm real. So I'm going to keep it real. I don't have a problem with the fight. You know, what sounds crazier to me is you have people they'll tell you what I'm saying don't make sense, but then they'll say Floyd need to fight Terrence Crawford. Bro, pipe dream. For one, they're cool and cordial with each other. Two, Terrence Crawford just retired and said he wasn't coming back for $100 million. So I don't imagine he would make much more than that fighting Floyd. You know what I mean? Three, notice when it's two black fighters, this is what they do. It's like the lesser two evils. You want to see a younger Crawford fight the 50-year-old as opposed to the 50-year-old fighting the 40-something-year-old in Manny Pacquiao, and they have bigger brands. Like, no disrespect to Bud, he not bigger. I don't care what he did with Canelo. He not a bigger global name than Manny Pacquiao. So to me, Netflix made the right choice because it's a business and they already have history. The first fight did astronomical numbers. And I want to get into why this fight could be better. But a lot of y'all capping, and I had to start this video off calling y'all out because y'all some cap artists. I don't even know if y'all graduate. I don't know if y'all had the gown, but I know y'all got the cap. You dig? And again, a lot of people are going to say, oh, man, Ego, you bluffing and all this goofy stuff. But we know you're going to be watching the fight just like everybody else. And I also know as a content creator, because my job is to make content, dummy, right? That's what I do. So right after, somebody's giving me the views right after these fights and during the fights, during the watch parties and stuff. So you can't tell me nothing because I have a business in the sport of boxing. So somebody clicking on it to have me in business this long, and is all the time it'd be a fight like Tank and Roach or Pacquiao and Floyd part 2, and people will complain. And this is why I'm saying, this is why I'm blaming you. I'm blaming the fans because it all depends on what you guys allow. In 2026, y'all really should start putting content creators on notice. Like, if you keep clickbaiting me, lying in your titles, getting me hyped up for nothing, your reporting is not credible. The stuff you say, simply put, does not happen. Or your predictions are always wrong. These types of things. Start holding content creators accountable. The problem is boxing fans are too thirsty. So they're like, oh, I don't care. And they're so forgiving that they'll allow content creators to lie and platform them. You know, it couldn't be me. I know that much because I don't like my time wasted. You know, on me, I've been doing this for a while and I strive for perfection and getting the news out, but also at a high quality. Like, look at my video, this video right now. Look at the colors, look at the quality, right? Listen to my voice in the audio. This took years for me to perfect. I always study my craft and hone my skill. There's a lot of people and doing like run and gun real quick videos. There's literally no script, no thought put in. And it's cool. I don't script my content either. But the point I'm making is you guys are allowing very low quality to get by as passable. This is why boxing isn't taken more serious in the number one sport in America, because of fans are just platforming anything. You allowing people to lie because you don't like Tank. You allowing people to say, oh, make videos and talk about Mayweather Pacquiao, how it's a horrible fight. But from now up until September, when they fight, they're going to continue making content about that. Like, how many times can one content creator or a few content creators say I don't like Tank Davis without making a million videos about him? How many times can you express I don't like Mayweather Pacquiao? They're too old. I'm not watching it. All you had to do is tell us one time. Say, hey, I hate the fight. The fight just got announced. I don't plan on watching. And as a result, I'll see you later. I want to talk about this or that. I want to talk about these other things in boxing. But you let people bamboozle you and then lie, but then need the clicks by using the popular, you know, hashtags and keywords and like Mayweather Pacquiao. I truly believe it'll be big. And now here's the part of the video where we break that down. This is why the fight could be end up being better than the first fight. There, and I got a couple different reasons, so do allow me to continue. Now, spoiler alert. These are the reasons why I feel this particular fight has potential to be better than the first fight. And keep in mind, I wrote some of them kind of in a code, so you have to stick around and watch to the end of the video so you understand exactly what it means. Because I know some people will just see the list and like, oh, won't be needing this guy anymore, and they'll dip. So I purposely, some of them are kind of ambiguous, but we'll go over them real quick and then I'll break it down one by one. So stick around to the end of the video. Age, less pressure, more runway, no pay-per-view as the fight is on Netflix. So for starters, let's talk about age. Now, this is kind of common sense. Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, they initially fought in 2015, right? Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, that was almost 10 years ago, 10, 11 years ago, right? So now the fighters are actually older, but for me, this could actually make the fight better. And I'll explain why. Floyd Mayweather is pushing 50 years old, right? Pushing 50 years old. He is older than Manny Pacquiao, right? So right here, I'm on Floyd's page. Pretty Boy Floyd, aka TBE, aka Money May, right? Born in February of 1977, 49 years old. So he just turned 49, right? He is older than Manny Pacquiao, and they're both legends in the game. They're both anomalies. That goes without saying. But the fact that Floyd, in my opinion, this is my opinion, of course, Floyd is a more put together, complete fighter than Manny Pacquiao, and that was on full display in the first fight. However, now he's been inactive. Yeah, he's fought some exhibitions and Logan Paul and Tenshin Nasukawa, but you know what they say, Father Time is undefeated. So the fact that he's 49, even though he still trains, Pacquiao is 2 years younger, 47. He won't be 48 until December. So this fight will have happened. The rematch will have happened by the time Pacquiao will still be 47. So that's one aspect of it. The fact that Floyd is older. So that kind of, given the fact that I believe Floyd to be a sharper fighter and uses more ring IQ, the fact that he's older than Pacquiao and been less active, because Pacquiao did come back to fight Mario Barrios, it to me makes it more intriguing, because that $1 million question is always going to be there for older fighters. Like, did Father Time catch up with this guy? Is luck on his side still? And at 50 years old, it's hard to definitively say, oh, this is prime Mayweather. It's going to look exactly like the first fight. And they say, speaking of age, your power is usually the last thing to go. So I think it could be a better fight just off rip based on that. Also, when we're talking about age, a lot of times guys, when they get older, things don't work the same. Your legs particularly. So people who claim that Floyd ran and all that type of stuff, what I've seen in boxing is as fighters get to more advanced ages in boxing, even if they moved a lot, As they get older, your legs might not be able to do 12 rounds of moving. Look at Guillermo El Chacao Rigondeaux. In his prime, when he was a bit younger, because he's a two-time gold medalist. So when he was a pro and a little bit younger, Rigondeaux, his footwork was crazy and he was moving. But I remember I went to cover a fight as credential media, and Guillermo Rigondeaux had, I think it was a Mexican fighter too, right? But he was in a war, and it was a complete shootout. And Rigondeaux, I don't want to say almost lost, but maybe, you know what I mean? It wasn't looking good for him for a minute, you know what I mean? And that's because I think his legs weren't there. You look at Edislandi Lara, another Cuban fighter who's known to use his legs. Lara, he's getting more knockouts now. The reason being is because his legs, he not gonna be able to move fluidly for 12 rounds anymore. So he's sitting down on his shots and exerting less energy. So that's age, kind of straightforward. I like it. So we're done with that one. Less pressure. Now, let me explain less pressure. The reason why this is important here is when the first fight happened, it was a lot. It was a lot going on. Both fighters were active fighters. The fight involved like Les Moonves of CBS, and they had to get and have a big meeting with HBO and Showtime. This was 5-6 years in the making for Maypack. There was a lot going on, a lot of moving pieces, right? And people had waited for 5-6 years. So the pressure was fever pitch because you had all these, HBO had to work with Showtime, which, they weren't typically doing. All of that has been absolved. We already watched them fight. Floyd already won. Pacquiao already got the loss, right? And we've already had an outcome. So in a rematch scenario, I feel like there's just less pressure on both guys. Because, I mean, why? What is the pressure? There's no HBO, Showtime, bidding war, got to work together, no less move. This is all on Netflix. So you don't have two networks arguing. Obviously, it appears the fighters are happy with the money for this to happen. So I really feel like the less pressure, it will make the fight just better. And especially for Floyd. Floyd, I'm not saying that he wants to lose now, but he's years removed from his career. And at that specific spot, it was so much pressure to beat Pacquiao because it was one of the biggest what ifs in boxing at that time. So you can argue that Floyd, he wasn't trying to make no mistakes in there, right? So maybe he was cautious, like you carry all that pressure. We recently seen that over the weekend with Ryan Garcia. I think Ryan Garcia, truthfully, probably could have did a bit more to hurt Barrios, but he was so laser focused and locked in because he was getting all this hate and all this pressure. Pressure changes everything. You know what I mean? So Ryan, he wanted that title and he wanted the respect. So he wasn't going to do extra and then potentially mess that up for him. And I respect that because as you should. I mean, why you want to fight like an idiot and then now people are making fun of you online? So this fight, for those listed reasons, there's a lot less pressure for really the world, boxing fans, but more importantly, the two fighters, Pacquiao and Floyd. I don't really see it being pressure. You're older guys, so people are kind of going to give you a little bit of grace. It's kind of like if Mike Tyson fought Roy Jones Jr., I know they fought in exhibition, but hear me out. See, y'all jumping the gun. If they fought in their prime, when they were both active fighters, that would have been a high risk, everybody got to stop what they doing type of fight. But years later, when they actually had the exhibition, I mean, there really wasn't much pressure. We had watched Roy Jones get knocked out before. We had watched Tyson get knocked out late in his career, and he was podcasting and doing shroom. Hi, it's me, Mike Tyson. I'm about to fight Roy Jones. Just like custom. I studied them all. That's why I'm so savage. Cause I studied all the conquerors, Attila the Hun, Alexander the Great. That's why I know them all. That's all I know is the art of war. Right? So when Roy and Mike Tyson, by the time they actually fought, really was no pressure, and in boxing pretty much had fun with the fight and we moved on. And that's the other thing, real quick. This is a bonus. This is a bonus point from your boy Ego. A lot of the people who I called out earlier for being fake, oh man, why are they fighting? Nobody wants to see that. Bro, stop it. We watched Roy Jones Jr. fight Mike Tyson, and they were well past whatever age Mayweather and Pacquiao are that I just went over, 49 and 47. And the world of boxing didn't complain about it, right? So that's one. We also watched Joe Calzaghe fight older B-Hop and older Roy Jones Jr. We also watched older version of like Sugar Ray Leonard and Donnie Lalonde or whatever dude name is, right? And Roy Jones versus Bernard Hopkins rematch well after the first fight. So get off your high horse. It's boxing. Because it makes me mad because I start seeing comments like, oh, boxing's in a terrible spot for this fight to be happening with these two grandpas. What are you talking about, bro? You just watch Ryan Garcia become a champion. Tank will be back, his team just said. Like Keith Thurman's about to fight Fundora. There's literally none. Zuffa Boxing just got in the game. Paramount's putting money towards that. What are you talking about? You got fighters getting $15 million deals, making more than anybody in the UFC for real, for real. And then you got people like, oh man, boxing's in a bad spot. The bottom line is this. I'm not telling you to like the Mayweather Pacquiao fight. Frankly, I don't care. I'm going to watch it. And I'm going to make money from the fight by making my content. So you guys do whatever you want, but don't act like you're Mother Teresa when it comes to boxing. Like we ain't seen this before. You literally watch Jake Paul fight ancient Mike Tyson and people didn't complain about it. And you watch Joshua, an Olympian, fight Jake Paul. Now all of a sudden people got standards and morals and like, how could boxing do this? Mayweather, Pacquiao too. Like, I don't rock with fakeness in any sense of the word. So I'm never going to respect that. If you're going to watch it, you're going to watch it. But people will come on my video to leave a comment. There'll probably be someone in this comment that didn't watch the whole video to hear me calling them out. And they'll be like, man, this fight stinks. I'm not watching it. But then you came to a video where the title said it was about Mayweather Pacquiao 2 to leave me a comment about how you're not going to watch it. The internet is crazy, yo. Anyway, let's keep going. The other thing that I like is more runway. Let me explain. By more runway, what I mean is Netflix being a big conglomerate in business, they're doing it the right way. If you have a big fight, you want to give it as much of a runway as possible. It's like a plane taking off. You want to give it a clear strip of land to pick up speed and then, go up into the sky. And I remember, given the fact that HBO and Showtime and Les Moonves, because keep in mind, I had a channel back then. I was still covering boxing. I've been doing this for a while, right? This is an old ESPN article from Dan Raphael. He don't even work there anymore at ESPN. But anyway, the date, look at the date, February 20th, 2015. Mayweather Pacquiao got set for May 2nd. So the point I'm making is, with all the negotiating and finally getting these two in the ring and all that type of stuff, it took so long that they didn't even have that big of a window before the actual fight was to commence. So late February is when it finally was fully announced. So it means filming, promo, press conference, building up, getting people excited. All that was pretty much done from March and then the fight was May 1st. So you really had March and April to promote the fight. And I think they looked at it as the fight's already been built for the last 5-6 years, so who cares? You know what I mean? But now we're in February, so roughly around the time the first fight was announced in 2015, but they're not fighting now until September, right? So that's what I'm talking about, more runway. They have plenty of time for Floyd to get in shape, Pacquiao to get in the best shape he can, So have the best possible training camp. You know, also speaking of training, if your fight is close, then if you get injured or something, you don't really have time to properly nurse it back to health because you're like, oh, the fight around the corner, and I don't want to disappoint people. Remember Pacquiao? My shoulder. I went to saltwater in the Pacific, right? He was complaining about his shoulder. So for older fighters like Floyd and Pacquiao, I actually prefer them having more of a runway so they can have the best possible camp and the best possible promotion. Now, hopefully, Netflix does it right and gives us a better buildup because I will be honest. I know Floyd and Pacquiao the first time set a bunch of records, but that was just based on the initial hype and people really wanted to see it. You know what I mean? But truthfully, it wasn't no legendary promotion in terms of like shoulder programming. I can't even recall like an episode of All Access or whatever. And that's the other thing. See, again, I've been doing this. Floyd was with Showtime at the time. Now he's suing them. Crazy. But he was with Showtime and Pacquiao was with HBO. So you still had two separate entities. And I remember Manny Pacquiao being an HBO fighter, they kind of produced their own shoulder programming for him only. And they didn't really have Floyd on it, right? And the only parts they had Floyd on it was like press conference stuff. You know what I mean? So it was kind of weak. And then same thing with Floyd. Showtime, their fighter at the time was Floyd. So it didn't really have Pacquiao on the Showtime stuff. So the fact that Showtime and HBO is not that anymore, Netflix needs to produce everything. So that makes it better because everything can be in-house. We know Netflix has camera crews and now one entity produces instead of it being split up like it was in the first fight. So I actually really like that. So these are some of the reasons why this fight actually might be better than the first fight. Now, don't hold me to it if it's trash and be like, oh, ego, you told me. You said it was going to be. Like, I ain't say all that. I'm just saying there's a potential for it to be better. And finally, my last reason why this fight, Maypac 2, could be better. We already went over pressure and more of a runway to promote and for them to train and have the best possible training camp, etc. We went over that. The final reason is no pay-per-view. At least as of me recording the video, this should be on Netflix. I mean, if Netflix was doing Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, Joshua, I don't think, I could be wrong, but they haven't done no pay-per-view so far. So Tyson Fury, all these other fights they got going on, Ronda Rousey, Carano, I ain't heard of none of them being pay-per-view. So I don't think that's really Netflix's model. I don't know if it's subject to change, but as of me recording the video, I ain't heard nothing about no extra cost for it. And a lot of people, for the first one, they complained they didn't get their money's worth. Oh man, I didn't like the fight or whatever people were crying about. But now a basic Netflix subscription will get you to fight. So they're going to do crazy views. If they did crazy views at $100 and I was one of the people that bought it, right? They did crazy views the first time. I mean, what is it going to be like if all it takes is this Netflix subscription? And this is the official flyer that they got going on. So I'm actually looking forward to it. Again, to me, this is just extra boxing content. If you don't like two older fighters fighting, who cares? Don't watch it. I'm gonna watch it. I'm definitely finna watch it. I grew up watching these guys. Why would I just change the channel now? You know what I mean? That's how I feel. So it ain't nothing serious, but those are some reasons why I personally believe this fight could deliver. And despite people complaining and nagging and, oh, ego, woe is me, I think this might be better than the first fight for said reasons. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Are you picking Pacquiao this time? Are you picking Floyd again? Let me know all that in the comment section for more boxing breakdowns and unpacks where I really deep dive and unpack the major issues in the sport of boxing, also delivering you the boxing news, in my opinion. Subscribe. We unpacked. We unpacked. We unpacked. We unpacked. Coming to you live, Boxingego unpacked. Yeah. We unpacked. We unpacked. We unpacked. Coming to you live. Live streaming can be tough, which is why I use StreamYard. Click the link in the description for StreamYard, which is an awesome tool that enables you to set up your stream with ease of use. Get great results with live streaming. It's what I use. Stream to social media with ease with StreamYard. Live streaming is here to stay. Engage with your audience using StreamYard. Great way to reach out to your audience and connect. So you need a tool that can do that. If you're new to YouTube and you're struggling to get views, one tool I can provide to you is TubeBuddy. I've been on YouTube over 10 years. I use TubeBuddy daily to crank out videos just like this one that you're watching. Learn how the pros do it with TubeBuddy. YouTube receives a lot of traffic, which also means a lot of creators, a lot of people putting out content. So you need to learn the ropes so you know how to separate yourself, especially if you're new. But even if you're a pro, use TubeBuddy. The link is in the description. Get more views, more subscribers, and a higher click-through rate. So ultimately,